excited to be coming back to you all with season 4. It's been a while, and I'm so happy to have my girl Fallon here. Fallon, how are you?
I'm here, child. Life has been life. You ain't even said where we was at.
I thought you went there for a minute. What do you, oh, you know
It,
what? Because we hadn't done it in so long, guys. You know what? Forgive us. We are back with season 4 of the You Better Than Me podcast. See, life really do be life because how did I not know that part?
child. This the energy we starting for season 4. We bringing it in our authentic selves, obviously.
Authentic. That is a fact.
Well,
How
Kristen, I
have you
guess it
been
has been
though?
a while. I've been fine. I've been
It's been a
really
while.
well. It's been a while. I feel like the last time we talked to the people, it was still 2023. We was giving them the 411 on the holidays and just talking about getting over the finish line with the good doctor. And here we are, damn near 6 months into this thing, and I think I'm still processing. Have you started your new year? What do you got going on? Like, did you run across the finish line or did you crawl like the good doctor told us on our last holiday episode before season 4 started that it was okay to crawl across the finish line?
I will say that I definitely was not running. I would give it a mall walk.
A mall walk.
A mall walk. So, it was a brisk walk, I was able to Mall Walkers of America unite, and when you exercise and you walk around the mall. It wasn't a run.
Like the
I'll tell you that. It
old.
wasn't a run. It was really
Well,
different. I will say that much. It was different. Yeah.
I guess a mall
You said you
walk is.
crawled though. Why were you crawling?
Well, maybe I will use a different analogy. Maybe I won't say I crawled. Maybe I will say that I like. What's the dance they used to do in the 80s? I did the worm over it where you like pop lock and drop it or whatever that is. I think I may have done one of those. That may have been more accurate.
Well, I guess the best thing is that we made it. I think I had told you before that like my family on New Year's Eve, going into New Year's Day, we would call each other and be like, "We made it. We made it over." So that's the most important thing for both of us.
Yeah, we made it. We here, and
We
hopefully
made
the
it.
people have made it with us. Hopefully the people
I
are
definitely agree.
here. I know I'm one of those people who doesn't necessarily enjoy the January start of the year. Then I always say I'm gonna give February 1st a start, but I feel like this year I'm gonna just push it all a bit way back. Like the beginning of the year gonna be like Cinco de Mayo, and that's gonna be when stuff really gets popping for me.
Oh, ma'am, you about to do a half a year, right?
I mean, I just feel like I'm still processing. I still feel like I am processing everything that has occurred between now and just the beginning of the year. Like I feel like that's the season that I'm
Mhm.
in. Is a still processing season. And it's not necessarily bad. I just think it's reflective. Like I'm taking time to really reflect on everything that has went down and just processing it. I don't want to just rush into anything. I think I'm still experiencing this year with the level of ease. So I'll just say I'm still processing.
And I will say there is absolutely nothing wrong with that. So I hope me being jovial didn't make you feel that way because there's nothing wrong with that. I think for myself, I was giving myself a timeline of maybe spring, like the start of spring, to really start thinking about some things. Like this is one of the first years that I didn't set any goals for myself. And typically, as friends, Fallon and I, we have another group of friends. Sometimes we will set goals together. And I know we didn't do that. So that's something that I know that I'd like to do. I am a big believer in writing it down and making it happen and just putting the pen to the paper on some of the things that I like to accomplish and see that will come to fruition. So I haven't done that yet. And I think for me, it was just, just me mall walking. I did a lot of traveling in December. I think I went to I went to New York or something like that. I can't remember. I went somewhere. It wasn't out of the country, but I went somewhere. And then I was having a little issue in my house and was just making me feel a little bit uneasy. And so for that reason, like I didn't typically celebrate how I normally do. I didn't put up any Christmas trees. I didn't put up any
What?
decorations. I know. And so I feel like that was where I was at. That's what was ushering me into 2024. And so because I didn't have those things just align, I didn't really properly set out to put any goals down for myself. And I guess the same word would still be ease, like just letting things flow and come as they may. But I do know that even though I would call myself a free spirited person, I'm free spirited within structures. So within a structural capacity. So I know that I do need to put some goals down on paper for myself.
I didn't write any goals down either, and you are right. We usually do take like a
Yeah,
little time to get together as a conglomerate and just set the
hmm,
tone for what we want. But I feel like being as I've crawled across the finish line into 2024, it was just seeming too overwhelming to even think about goals. Like the main goal that I had was to just make it to the other side and like have my husband with me, just have the family together and just really be leaning on each other because it got gritty in the city towards the end of the year. So I was just happy to really just make it. So maybe we do need to do some goal setting or like at least write a couple of things down. I don't want to like overwhelm myself because I feel like
right.
in years past we've overwhelmed ourselves or like set expectations too high. But I do think that at this big age of 42 that I am right now, that I'm comfortable with not having a whole list of goals. Now we have like big ones. Obviously, we have goals as a couple or as a family unit, but as far as like just do this, do this, do this. I think I'm chilling on that. I don't know. Maybe it's wrong. Maybe it's the wrong way to be thinking about it. I could just be meh. Who knows? But I don't know. Maybe you could help me think of some simple goals or
Well, you
maybe
still
some
have
stuff
time.
that
You said you were waiting.
yeah.
You said you were waiting
I
for
still
something
have
on you,
time.
so you still have a bit of time to figure out what it is that you like to do. And again, if you feel like this is a year where you just, take it with ease and maybe not do any goals, then you do that as well.
Yeah.
That's how I
I
see
think
it.
that's cool. That's fair. But see, even with that, I feel like just thinking about the goals, it puts a lot of pressure on yourself because when you don't have them listed out and you hear that voice in your head making you feel guilty, that's like, well, maybe you should be doing this or maybe you should be doing that. And it's weird. I recently had saw like something one of my college classmates had posted on Facebook. And like it's just a group of like guys that I went to school with. They have become like capital gains cult members at this point. Everything is hustle, hustle, hustle. If you sleeping and you ain't tired, you ain't making money. If you not doing this, if you got a balanced life, then you broke. Like this is the tone of the Facebook statuses. So it was like some girls were commenting. I don't know if the dudes were like sleep or not even want to entertain the conversation, but it seemed like the majority of the women who were commenting on that post we're kind of along the lines of no, if you don't have any balance, then you're doing it wrong. It doesn't matter what goals you're achieving or like what money you're making if you don't have balance. Like that's every lady was saying it. And then the guy, he kind of responded back like, "Oh, well, I see it's only females saying it's okay to not have goals. But the men are silent to this." So it was just weird. I don't know.
I feel like I don't know how and when we became a hustle culture, specifically people that look like us. And I'm only saying that because that's really who I'm in proximity with. But I don't know when we got there, and I feel like I don't know. It's just crazy. I get it to a certain extent, and then another extent I don't get it because I will think about like my grandma being old school and me saying, "Oh, I need a nap. I need to rest." And I feel like these people that are just with this hustle culture, it's just like you can do all of that and you can obtain all of these things, and then what exactly is it for if you are unable to actually use the wealth that you've received? And I get it. You could say, oh, well, it's the wealth for my my children or my children's children's. And I get that, but I do feel like a lot of times we need to try to incorporate some type of balance, and more importantly, like rest. Like there are still so many people that are a part of this hustle culture that won't even take PTO. And to
Girl.
me, it's just weird. I don't see myself just working, I don't know, hustle culture or doing a job like forever. Maybe I don't have that many passions about myself, but I got to go lay down at some point in time.
Yeah, because I think your body tells you to. So I feel like when people are or just go go go, they're not being authentic, or they're ignoring what their body is trying to tell them. Like I feel like when I am tired, I can't even think straight. When I try to put too much on myself, even if it's just like extracurricular, even if it's at work, even if it's just like life goals, trying to promise myself I'm gonna go to the gym 4, 5 days a week. Like I feel like all those types of pressures just tire me out. Like it just makes me not want to do anything. Like I'll be like, oh, I have so much to do, and then it'll be just a moment where I plop down on the couch and it's like, sheesh, I
I ain't
still
doing
have
nothing.
so much to do. Like
Right, right.
even just coming back to the podcast. I know you and I always talk about the podcast, how we feeling, what we gonna be doing, but I know I had like this is like I guess an unspoken goal just to make the fourth season the best season. But even then I kind of felt like a little, not, I won't say intimidation or hesitation. It was kind of like, we gotta come in all hard. We gotta do this. I gotta be shucking and jiving. Like I'm sure the people not expecting me to shuck and jive at this stage
I
of the
hope
game. I
not.
hope not. If they are definitely not the people that we've been rocking with for the last four seasons. Hopefully, the people know that that's not. We don't want to do anything that's feeling rushed or overly rehearsed. But I don't know. I just felt like, what energy am I gonna be able to bring? Like, am I gonna be able to come back and just put on this face and just like, yeah, dance, Chris, dance, and just be, there for the people? Like I guess at this point, it's kind of like one of those being okay with putting your authentic self on display. Like, I think that maybe I'll put that as my theme too for the year. I won't just say that I'm still processing. I'll say that I'm putting my authentic self on the front stage this year. And if my authentic self is showing up and I'm tired, then I'm not gonna pretend like I'm not tired. If my authentic
Yeah.
self is jubilating, what is it, jubileeing, jubilant, joyous, whatever the word, like, even I feel like me and you even had a discussion, like not wanting to seem too happy because you don't want people to get mad at you, or not wanting to share good news. And it's like, damn, we still dealing with this in our big old age. But
Right.
we are, unfortunately. It kind of feels like, you know, you want to shield some stuff. So I kind of, while I'm processing, I think it's gonna be a matter of me putting my authentic self on display.
Yeah. I can get that. I feel like, again, speaking about this big age that we're at, my biggest thing is really not doing anything that doesn't make sense to me, and not really having to explain why it doesn't make sense to me. Like it's just at this age, I don't want to do it. Like it's not the type of experience that I like to have. And I'm really big in my mind right now of not having any low quality experiences. And as soon as they pop up, because they have popped up, it's like I need to run the other way, because I know that for me that's something that I don't want to have. And I'm not really seeing that in regard to like a monetary value or something that happens. It's just like even the peace that could come from a low quality, or the not the peace, because it wouldn't be any peace, but if there's not any peace in a low quality situation, I don't want to have it.
Mm.
And that's just where I am. And just not really having to, I don't know, give any excuses for why I'm feeling how I feel, because my feelings are valid. And
Yeah.
someone else can also decide that they don't want to do the same things, or maybe they don't want to be around me because now I have this newfound revelation of how I would like for myself to be. But that's kind of how I am. And I think that ties in with the ease portion as well.
Mm. Yeah. I feel like if we are still in a space of like having to explain ourselves, since we are talking about our big old ages, that maybe the people that we are around are not maybe our people. I know we've talked about the shedding, we didn't talk about the reaping, we didn't talk about the tribe, kicking people out the villages and everything. Like I feel like everybody that we have around us right now, if they don't get that, then they need to get back, you know?
I get that, but we also have to think about how people are intertwined with us, because sometimes that could look like people from professional organizations, or it could look like, just people from school or something.
Give me an example of one that you are entwined with that couldn't be sent packing.
Mm. I don't know if it would be best for me to give you that example, if I'm being honest with you, because it's so, I could give you the example and it would flow right into maybe an issue. But
Oh
I just feel
Lord.
like there are some people that have proximity to us that it's not as easy for you to just be like, "Oh, is this a dead cutoff?" Or, you know, if I'm not saying this is a dead cutoff, this person is. You get what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Because what I'm choosing for myself is for myself, but it's not necessarily to rock the boat of everyone else. You get it?
Yeah.
And I think that's what people I would like for people to start thinking as well, because sometimes it's not about you, it's just about me. And I'm not gonna feel bad about putting myself first. I'm just not.
Mm-mm. And I don't think you should. I think that should be a priority. If it's not putting yourself first, or like your family, or your unit as a couple first, then I don't think you should do it, or you shouldn't have to. Now I know like you have to play a role, not like just to be in your own space or confines when it comes to like the workplace or like your business or like making money. I gotta play nice and whatever just because I don't have that autonomy since I don't have my own business right now.
Hmm.
But I don't know. I feel like every season I'm always talking about some beef or like somebody being mad at me, but it just happens and I don't care no more. Like, oh
That's what I'm
well,
saying.
it just ain't gonna be in with the fam. But I feel like everybody that's on the outside is still wishing they were still down with the kids. So it's more like they lost. It's not like I'm saying I've lost anything or I'm doing without. I feel confident in operating in my own space.
But I feel like the beauty in that is because if you can say that, then that means that you are showing up as your authentic self. And that is my thing for me to say, excuse me, I don't want any low quality experiences. This is what I like. This is what I don't like. I am showing up as myself in each scenario. And I just feel like when you do that, it's a take it or leave it for me. You know what I mean? Like, this is who I am. I'm not being rude. This is my authentic self.
Yeah. One thing I have noticed is that I do have a bad habit of toning it down. And my husband has been like, oh, you got to put in these bitches' space. You got to do this. You got to do that. Like, I don't want to be, cocky about it, but just being confident in my arena, being at home fully in my body, being comfortable turning the lights on in the house when I know that the bills are paid and I ain't got to dim no lights for nobody to be comfortable or feel good in my space. Like that's something I think that I will add to my goal list or my to-do list for the year. Like I feel like it's necessary. I don't know. And you can tell me. I feel like I don't flex when I should be flexing.
I think that I don't know if it's you don't flex when you should be flexing. Maybe the flexing should just be louder.
Ooh,
You know what I mean? Because I don't know. I feel like I always say celebrate small wins, but I feel like, over the course of us not recording the podcast, you've probably had some rather large wins that I may have even overlooked because you weren't loud enough with it. And I'm
wow.
not blaming that on you, but I'm just saying, like,
Yeah,
You
you're
my
right.
girl. Like hype yourself up and let me know too. Let me get a banner or something. Let me get you some balloons or something.
I know.
I know you did some things that I missed, and I was like, oh my gosh, I totally missed this, that, and I wish I would have seen it and I would have reposted it because I'm all about Fallon. But I think that no, if you not hyping yourself up and if you ain't loud about it, no one else will be. And I agree with your husband when it comes to things of that issue. Again, when they're positive things, like yeah, like pop your ish. You know what I mean?
Pop it.
Pop it.
I do want to give you a shout out because I know while we have been on our break, you have been doing your big time celebrity thing and had a
Oh
whole
Lord,
show and all of that. I be all proud like you, Fantasia or somebody. But
you are funny.
you had your set. Is this your what number show is this for you? Like fourth, fifth?
You know what? I don't even know. I think I've lost count.
See,
I don't even know. I have no clue, but I did have a show recently, so thank you. I know that you would have been here if you could have, but
I
it was it
know.
was a really good show. I remember saying to someone that this show made me feel the most comfortable as I've ever felt when it comes to doing shows. And like I wanted the producer to do, and I haven't told him this, so I probably will, to do a side by side of me singing one song, like, maybe a first clip the first time I sing the song, and then the second clip, the second, well, not the second, but this is like after a number of shows, me singing the exact same song just to see the progress because I just felt it. And it's a different story when you feel it and you don't feel
Yeah.
nervous and you feel like, man, this is the gift that was given to me and I get to share it because it's not for me. And that's exactly how I felt.
So you sang and looked directly at the crowd this time?
I mean, I looked into the crowd, but I wasn't like, I don't feel like I had any like nervousness. And, I had some special people in the audience for me.
Oh,
I
really?
wasn't feeling nervous or anything. So,
So
yeah.
you was out here serenading people, is what you're telling me.
Now, we ain't get that far. I ain't do no serenade, but, I did call a couple of people out.
Okay. I'm proud of you
Thank you. I
because
appreciate that.
I just feel like anybody who has a gift and I could almost hear the man in the back somewhere talking about, well, you got a gift too. You better write. You better get to writing. No, you better get to doing this. You got gifts too.
Right.
But I
Right.
feel like anytime you have a natural talent, man, I be singing all the time now, and I know I don't have a voice like yours. But you could not tell me nothing. I would be singing all the time. Like that y'all would be annoyed with me because I would just be singing. And I'm
I would
sure.
definitely be annoyed with you because I always tell people that be singing or know how to sing, they just don't shut up. Like, oh my gosh. And I'm not in that category. Sorry, y'all, but I'm not in that category. But yeah,
Well, while we talking about making money and singing and serenading and whatnot, let us not forget to pay the good old church's money. You better
yes.
sing us a little outro or something for the jingle. But we'll be right back after we pay the church's money.
Hey, pilots, did you know that you can now catch the electrifying sounds of Bullet and Flight Radio anywhere you go? Yes, you heard it right. Tune in to the high flying beats and soaring melodies by downloading the TuneIn app on your mobile device. Just search for Bullet and Flight Radio and hit play. It's that easy. And if you have a smart device like Alexa or Google, just say, hey Google or Alexa, play Bullet and Flight Radio on TuneIn. Experience the rush of adrenaline wherever you are. Listen to Bullet and Flight Radio on TuneIn using your Alexa or Google devices. Soaring through the skies has never sounded this good. Don't miss out on the ultimate musical journey. Tune in now to Bullet and Flight Radio on TuneIn and let the music take you on an unforgettable ride. Get ready to elevate your listening experience. Brought to you by Bullet and Flight Radio.
Okay, so now that we done got some bills paid and we have made a little money for the pyro, Let's get into it since we've already decided as a unit that, if you didn't start your beginning of the new year in January nor February nor at the springtime, you can roll roll with the punches and get down with the beginning with your girl in May. What am I looking forward to when my year begins? I'm starting my year out with the podcast year. So
Okay.
I know we have like a whole half of a year left, and I really want the latter half of the year to really be when we lean into like just putting it out there, just being in your face ourselves and like all these great things. But what are you looking forward to the most for this latter half of the year?
Um, in regard to like our podcast, I'm definitely looking forward to growing more and, to be specific, growing a little bit more on our social media. I know that's something that we tapped into it, but I know for myself, I haven't tapped into it as much as I can. And I think that there are still some people that know me in some capacity that don't even know that I have a podcast. Or if I say, oh, yeah, I have a podcast and I'm on, this season, they're like, what? And you've had it for this long? So I think I just want to make sure that we are being, but I'm speaking for myself, fully engaged in growth. Um, Not only growth but communication too, speaking to people, because if I'm going to take my time and listen to a podcast, sometimes I want the podcasters to speak about some things that I might be interested in, especially us having this podcast surrounded about, or speaking about, Black women and things of that nature. So I wouldn't mind hearing what some of our listeners may be interested in this season. And also, just having some dynamic shows and having some people on here that we can start talking about some risque subjects.
Mm. I wholeheartedly agree with you. I do think that we need to be a little bit more loud and proud. I don't necessarily share information with people, but I'm a Scorpio. I be keeping my business to my business. But I feel like where it pertains to this business, we have dabbled with building brands for a long time, both of us, even if it's been from our throwback blogger days. Like, we have always kind of skirted along the edge of wanting to have like brands and just something that showcases who we are, because I do believe we are both very unique individuals, and just the dynamic, I feel like it was very much so a godsend that we actually connected in real life after, a decade ago being some strangers on the internet, not even realizing that we was going to be strangers on the internet again, like a decade later. But I just think it was kind of kismet that, that is our story. And I do think being more loud and proud and just not really caring, because I know we have brattled our tongues a lot. We haven't talked about just any and everything, and we've avoided being pigeonholed or like categorized as like, oh, they only be talking about this or they only be talking
Hmm.
about that. I feel like we have, we've done the gambit of like different topics, but I think now that we have grown up a little bit, even though it don't seem like it sometimes, I feel like we've matured and our voices have even matured, and that we should be able to show people that that evolution is okay. Like the changes that you're feeling at this age or even younger, they're okay. Or just being unapologetic about how you feel, or even if you ain't feeling like you just the baddest thing walking at the moment, like that's okay too, as long as you get back on it. But I really want the show to be a platform that really speaks volumes to authentically living your black best life.
Yes, I definitely agree with you. I think where we sometimes miss the mark as a whole is that even though people's opinions, because that's all that we're giving you guys on this here podcast, our opinions, I feel like we miss the mark because, in general, people don't always have to agree. And I think the main thing that you and I think that just as a society should do is just be more respectful, because I feel like once you're delivering things with respect, it makes it easier for people to swallow and, take it in and say, you know what, you know, I may not agree with you, but you have a right to feel how you feel. And I think I'm looking forward to that, because as we mentioned, like, if we're going to be a little bit more risque and we're going to be bringing some people on the show, like, we may not always agree, but we're definitely going to have to find a point to just be respectful of one another and our guests. So I'm looking forward to that.
I'm with it. I'm with all of that. I feel like, ooh, I feel like my throat's giving out on me, and that's a little bit authentic, also.
I was over here choking too. I guess our throat chakras are just saying, girls, get it together. You have a podcast. We haven't done it in
Right?
so long. Like,
It's been so long that I'm literally
right.
over here like throat caving in.
I have water over here and everything. And it's just like, ooh, yeah, we're just
Hilarious.
taking this with ease.
Oh man. Good old you better than me.
Right. You gotta get that lubrication. Oh my goodness.
Anyways, now that my throat has somewhat recovered, I think that my expectations are to really just talk about the things that people are afraid to talk about, that we've been afraid to talk about.
Yeah,
Now, I
because
ain't
there are
talking
some
about like
topics.
no foolishness or nothing that's going to hurt no feelings or start no problems or whatever. I'm not about the controversy, but it's stuff that has been going on. It- we got to talk about it.
Friend, you need another sip over there. So I think that since we've discussed where we would like the podcast to go for season 4, um, what else do you have going on for yourself? Because I know a lot of times when we do this recap, once we get back on the podcast, we like to speak a little bit about what we have going on. And I know neither one of us has done any goal planning, but maybe in some other areas, we've kind of maybe not have written it down on paper, but in our minds, there are some things that we got going on in terms, like for myself, traveling. You guys know that I became unbasic last year when I got my passport. And so after that, I just had like this whole travel bug, and I am still in that area of, still wanting to travel and still like see different places and meet up with people. As long as I have the funds to do so. So that is definitely something that I'm looking forward to.
Shout out to Kristen for getting her passport
Shut
and
up.
using it.
Using it. I've been using it, but guess how many stamps I have?
That's because people are changing their regulations.
Gosh, why did they want to change now that I got my passport? I'm trying to get some stamps. I done been to how many countries now? At least 4, 5, and I have one stamp. That's it. Like, that sucks. One stamp.
I'm just happy that they gave me my old one back because
Uh-huh.
I at least had that one kind of decorated. But I think a lot of countries are going to using like digital stuff where they're like scanning your fingerprint and all this and not
Yeah,
giving
that's
stamps.
true. I'm gonna need them to stay out of my retina. I don't need that. Get off my retina now.
Right.
Just
But
stamp my passport, honey.
I'm looking forward to some trips too. I feel like just a goal of ours as a couple has been to like get our dream house situation started,
Okay.
but also, as my honey says, walk and chew gum at the same time. So, as trips wise, I know we're doing like a nice little New York, go to Broadway, meet up with the friends to see the Wiz and explore New York. So, I'm looking forward to that. And then I know we're still trying to decide what we're gonna do for my honey's birthday. But I know for my birthday I do want to go to Mexico City. So I'm definitely looking forward to a Mexico City trip in November.
I think I want to do some solo traveling. Like I really do. I don't know. I've been traveling with a little friend of mine, and I think that we have different travel styles, which is cool. But I want to have a high end experience, and I may have to do that for myself on my birthday. And then I think I want to come to Mexico City too. So we just have to see how much traveling um, I've done and how them funds looking because the
Okay.
food in Mexico City just looks amazing. I'm like, oof, I'm trying
It
to get there.
is. I'm literally just looking forward to eating at a bunch of restaurants. So yeah, get you some Mexico City travel in your life. I don't know what's wrong with our throats though. This is ridiculous.
It
Like,
really
dang, we
is.
really sound rusty. Like, has it been this long since we've been on the podcast? Like, I feel like Pyro. I feel like
I'm
Pyro
like,
about to.
I haven't coughed all day, and once I start
I
recording,
know.
now
I
I got
feel
to
like
start
we
coughing.
about to get the what how they do the Sandman. Executive producer about to come up in here singing and dancing like it's on Showtime at the Apollo.
I used to love that show, by the way. Shout out
I
to Showtime and
know,
Apollo.
right. Shout out to Harlem and
Shout out to
Showtime at the
Kiki Sheffer,
Apollo.
baby.
I know. But no, other than just the travel, like I said, we are starting to put some foundations on looking for our dream home. We
Okay.
gonna be talking our big ish for the new year on season 4.
Mm-hmm.
I'm looking forward to some interesting guests. I would love to get some different perspectives and just have people who may not necessarily be the same frame of mind or thought patterns as us because we agree on a lot but we disagree on a lot, but we
Mm-hmm.
are just two pegs in a square whatever. I don't even know the analogy, but I feel like there's so many different types of women and black women that we're not a monolith. So
Nonetheless,
this definitely want to, spread our rings and invite different perspectives and different ideas on to the stage with us and, really just get into the nitty gritty. I feel like we out here living lifing, and we doing our thing. And I just want to continue to allow the people to come on this journey with us.
I agree. I think that was such a great way to start wrapping it up. And I just want to say again, I know I said it earlier, but thank you guys, especially all of you that have been following us for 4 long seasons. Like, we really appreciate you for checking in each time we post a new episode. And for the people that give Fallon and I feedback, we love it. And we are happy that you're still rocking with us. So, thank you so much. And we will check you out on the next episode.
You know what? We ain't even say what we were better than. How we missing the
We
most
surely
important?
did. Listen, you
Jeez.
are better than me if you get on your podcast and don't have your throat together. Because listen, that's what happened today.
Well,
That's
you
exactly what
are
happened.
definitely. That's a sign from the universe. We got to get our throat chakra. See, it goes with everything we talked about. You got to use your voice, speak,
Got to.
because if not, the good Lord gonna take it away. So you better than me if you're not out here working your throat muscles and doing what you got to do and saying what you need to say.
Speak love. Okay. All right. Until next time.
We back
Bye.
in here. Bye.
Bye.
You Better Than Me is a podcast on Pyro Media Network, produced by Pyro Media Productions. Pyro Media Network and Pyro Media Productions are subsidiaries of Pyro Media Enterprises. For more information, please visit www.pyromedianetwork.com. Thank you for listening, and we will see you on the next.